Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week we're going to be looking at some of the scope mounting solutions available from SportsMatch. But first, the squirrel cull continues. Right, we're back in the woods where we were targeting squirrels on a bitterly cold day towards the start of this year. Now, as I explained back then, Rick the owner has set up several feeders because he's eager to keep squirrel numbers down, and that just makes it easier for us to pinpoint them. Now, there are less squirrels here than there were back then. I've been keeping on top of it, and we're not making the big bags, certainly like I was last summer when I was maybe accounting for 7 or 8 squirrels per visit. But as with any pest control, it's a matter of keeping that pressure on, so we'll give it a go and see what we can do. Conditions are certainly more favourable than the last time we were here filming in the freezing cold. It'll make it more comfortable for us and should also encourage those squirrels to come out and feed. Now, as you can see, the hazelnuts are just starting to form. Rick told us last time that it had been years since he'd last seen ripe hazelnuts here because the squirrels have been decimated them. But I'm hopeful that this year things may be a bit different because there are far less squirrels around. Now, by munching their way through these and other fruit, the grey squirrels are depriving native wildlife of food. And given that this is prime habitat for dormice, that's bad news. With all those hazelnuts just starting to ripen, the squirrels have got no shortage of natural food. Fingers crossed all that grub won't divert them away from the feeding stations. But I needn't have worried. It's clearly apparent that the greedy bushy-tails are still tucking into our offerings. This one is so preoccupied with filling its belly that it didn't notice me approaching along the woodland ride. That was a good start. That one was on the feeder as I came round the corner and made the mistake of staying there. That was a clean kill, so I'm not going to go crunching in to pick it up. I'm going to get set up and hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 more. So, with one already accounted for, I need to find somewhere to ambush any more squirrels that come to the feeder. Well, it looks very different from when we were here in the winter. Back then I was able to sit up on top of the bank and shoot down towards the feeder, but now there's just so much summer growth in between that A, I wouldn't be able to get shots through, and B, I just don't think I'd even be able to see the feeder. So I'm going to set up here. I've got a nice clear view of the feeder, good clear shots, and it puts me about 25, 30 metres away, which should be just right. This spot gives me a clear view of any incomers that fall for the lure of the feed. All I need to do now is get my concealment sorted. And my choice of cover for today is a simple hide net. It's nothing fancy, but it should do the job. Well, I'm not even going to bother pegging the bottom of the net to the ground today. I just want to get dug in quickly and with minimal disturbance. And my final piece of prep is to load up, ready for action. Right, I'm not going to bother with a head net or a hat today. I'm just going to rely on the hide netting. To be honest with you, although the sun's in and out, it's a really hot, muggy day, so I just want some air around my head and to be comfortable while I'm sat here waiting. As with most air rifle hunting, you do have to be prepared to put in the time for this sort of ambush to work. The appeal of the feeder has already been proven, but all I can do now is sit tight and wait for events to unfold. It's absolutely swarming with flies around us, and you'll probably hear it on the audio. Luckily, they don't seem to be horseflies, and so far they're leaving us alone.
The flies aren't backing off, but nor are the squirrels, and I take my cue to line up the shot as one arrives on the feeder.
I thought for a moment I was going to have to break cover to move that one because it looked like it was going to die in the feed tray, but it's just flopped off, so I'm going to stay put, wait for another one to come out.
And it's back to the waiting game. I'm pretty confident that we've not seen the last of the action from here, so I'm sitting it out in the hope of adding another to the bag. There's something stirring in the undergrowth, but it's certainly not a squirrel.
There's a deer up on the bank behind the feeder. Can't be more than 40 metres away now. Apart from being nice to see, it also shows that our concealment's obviously working. It's just starting to move on now, but I don't think it's aware of us.
This is more like it. We've got another taker at the feeder. It looks like it's going the wrong way to start with, but the temptation of the grain is too great and it comes back, presenting me with another opportunity. A robin tries to drop in for a quick peck at the grain, but it's soon elbowed out by yet another greedy squirrel. This one's a really fidgety customer. Confident that it won't be going anywhere before it's had a go at the grain, I bide my time and wait for it to offer me a still target. After waiting patiently for the right time to shoot, I'm not content with the way that one fell, so it's out of the hide and over to the feeder to see if it needs finishing off.
Well, I broke cover pretty quickly then because I wasn't sure about the way that squirrel fell, and I just really wanted to confirm that it was a clean kill, which it obviously was because all 4 squirrels are accounted for here. And looking in the muddy stream, I can see where all those flies were coming from as well. It's absolutely heaving with them here. Now obviously I've made quite a disturbance now, but to be fair, we're about to call it a day. We've got 4 squirrels and I'm pleased with that for a fairly short session. More squirrels for the trusty Mark IV there. And now it's over to the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news, brought to you by the Airgun Centre. Shooters are threatening a boycott of Irish newsagent Eason's after it said it was moving shooting magazines to the top shelf in its stores. It also imposed an 18 plus till prompt on shooting mags, even though it's legal to obtain a licence in Ireland from as young as 14. The move was a response to pressure from anti-shooting activist group the Irish Council Against Blood Sports. If you want to make your views known, write to customer service at easons.com or find them on Facebook or Twitter. Airgunners are getting set for the Midland Game Fair at Weston Park in Shropshire on the 19th and the 20th of September. The show's Airgun Expo will feature top manufacturers and retailers among its exhibitors, while top shooters battle it out in the European Field Target Championships over the weekend. There will also be expert tuition with the ATEO, plus a chance to try out the latest airgunning hardware on ranges run by the AMTA. Here's the Webley VMX with oversleeve suppressor. The super quiet Springer is available with black or green ambidextrous synthetic stock at $179.99 or in mossy oak camo. Specifications include precision rifled steel barrel, 2-stage trigger and automatic resettable safety catch. Supplied with micro-adjustable true glow sights, the rifle also has 3 8-inch dovetail rails to mount a telescopic sight. And finally, Daystate has launched its new Rangemaster Kaiser pellet, a round head that's manufactured by H&N. Available in 177, 20 and 22, first batches should be in gun shops now. That was the Airgun Show news.
We've been forced inside by the rain today, but I'm going to be looking at a selection of scope mounts from SportsMatch. And I'd argue that this is one of the most neglected, yet most important pieces of shooting kit out there. As shooters, we tend to devote a lot of time and attention to guns and scopes, yet often neglect the importance of good quality scope mounts. However, no matter how good your gun and scope are, they won't function to their optimum without top quality mounts, because you will have created a weak link between them. SportsMatch mounts are made in Great Britain from top quality materials and to uncompromising tolerances. They also come with a lifetime guarantee. They're used by Special Forces units, police, champion target shooters and professional pest controllers. Their pedigree really is unrivaled and they're easily identified by the blue SportsMatch logo. As I've got a recoiling airgun here, I've fitted it with a classic one-piece mount. There's also another little accessory on here, and I'll talk more about that later on. This mount provides maximum clamping power to ensure that movement from the piston never makes it creep. There's also a recoil arrestor pin that drops into a receiver between the rails for added reassurance. The recoil from this airgun is actually very mild, and I know this mount isn't going anywhere. But if you do have an airgun with exceptionally harsh recoil, SportsMatch even do a one-piece damper mount. It has integral rubber bushes which help to absorb the kick and eliminate the shock waves that can damage your scope. SportsMatch also make a wide range of two-piece scope mounts in low, medium and high formats, and to fit 1-inch and 30mm scope tubes. They also produce several specials, including extended mounts to increase eye relief on rifles with short rails, and adjustable mounts so that you don't have to mess about with shims when you run out of adjustment on your scope. They also produce a wide range of specialist mounts to suit a variety of different scope rails. The SportsMatch range extends far beyond conventional scope mounts, and I've got their quick release torch mount on here. Leave it in situ and keep the clamp on your torch and you can set up really quickly for lamping sessions. I particularly like the fact that the screw housings are inverted so they drop in from the top rather than having to fiddle around screwing them in from the bottom. It's also a nice high setup that keeps your lamp clear of the turrets and well above the objective lens. SportsMatch also do a swing out spirit level. This clever little device screws in place of one of the top screws on the scope mount. It's unobtrusive and swings out to provide a level to ensure that you never count your gun and always keep your scope and barrel vertically aligned. It's probably better suited to a target rifle than my hunting Springer, but it's still a really neat little piece of kit. What we've seen today is just a tiny fraction of the SportsMatch range, but I think it's fair to say that they've got a mounting solution for pretty much any gun scope combo you can think of. It's all brilliant gear, built on experience gained over more than 40 years in the industry and guaranteed for life. You can see the full range on their website.
That's all we've got time for this week, but we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, it's time you joined the organisation that works to protect and promote your sport.